This is Champ Week, presented by Principal, as we welcome you to the 2018 Aaron's American Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Championship. Quarterfinal round continues. Game 3 of 4 in the night session with the Temple Owls getting set to take on the Wichita State Shockers. Mike Corey alongside Mark Adams. It was a three-pointer at the buzzer by Kareem Bruton for Memphis as they advance to take on Cincinnati tomorrow in the semifinals. Tonight, we have Houston and UCF, but first, Wichita State and Temple, and one of the most exciting players in the conference this season, Mark, in Landry Shamet.
Landry Shamet is the Aladdin of college basketball. Why? A magical jump shot, nearly 45% from three. He grants wishes with assists, and he can make Wichita State's dreams come true right here in Orlando in the American.
You're off to a roaring start here tonight. You're excited for this one, aren't you?
I am jacked up for this one. I saw one of the greatest college basketball games I've seen in my whole career in the Roundhouse, as Temple was up by 14 and dropped 56 on the Shockers, and the Shockers came back and won that game. Mike, we're in for a treat tonight.
Looking forward to it. Our starting lineups are brought to you by Aaron's. Shaman alongside Shaq Morris, a very much improved player for the Shockers. We'll talk about him as this game progresses. For Temple, Quentin Rose, their top scorer, but Obi Anechionia, what a night he had yesterday, knocking down 5 three-pointers for the Owls as they advanced.
And that will be a key defensive strategy for Wichita State, as Obi Anechionia, a great pick and pop, stretch 5, stretch 4, and Wichita State did not guard that well in the Roundhouse, especially in the first half, but they tightened up to get the win. And oh, by the way, Temple won as they go up top there for Rashard Kelly. Temple won in Philadelphia.
Kelly gets the basket and is fouled.
I talked to Fran Dunphy before the game. He was concerned about one thing and one thing only: the inside offense of Wichita State. And they open up the game, and Rashard Kelly gets the lob for the deuce, +1.
And it was Obi Anechionia. They got called for the foul for Temple. How about the Shockers fans here traveling to Orlando in full force tonight?
Yeah, they turned off the lights in Wichita. This is Doodah East right now.
They're enjoying their first year in the conference, aren't they?
They traveled always well to Arch Madness, and I had the honor and privilege of calling a lot of those games as all of a sudden the flat P goes to the rim from Josh Brown. This program travels well.
Fran Dunphy's group has had some really special wins this season, but then also some kind of head-scratcher losses as well. Some of their losses, they've not been in the ball games, but they've got a pretty good resume there. They just weren't able to kind of get over the hump, and they got knocked out of that conversation late in February.
Yeah, they knocked off Auburn when it seemed Auburn was pretty much unbeatable. They beat Clemson when it seemed like Clemson was pretty much unbeatable. But they also have some warts on their resume as well. I mean, this could have been a 5 or 6 bid league if not for injuries. And then the up and down ride, the Jekyll and Hyde type of season that Temple has had.
The foul was on Landry Shamet for Wichita State, as a Flackby, who had early foul trouble yesterday, 2 fouls, had a sit for most of that first half, gets Temple on the board here tonight.
And Temple coming out with a little bit of full court pressure. Josh Brown matched up with Landry Shamet. There they are. Keep an eye on that matchup. 1 versus 11.
Zach Brown. His pass deflected by Quentin Rose. Got it back from a Flackby. Rose over a double team, rebounded by Connor Frankamp.
Look for Quentin Rose to be really aggressive early. It doesn't surprise me he went to the rim on that shot.
Kelly to the corner. Brown misses a 3. Offensive rebound by Shaq Morris. Shockers move well without the basketball.
They share the ball well. Listen, Landry Shamet is so unselfish and so balanced when he lets it go. That's the value of Aladdin tonight. He can perform magic on this floor.
Projected as
the Orlando deal.
Yeah, you're right on it.
Yeah, I'm all over that.
Well, a great guy to start off with. Projected as a late first-round pick in the NBA as well. They love his play. Just a sophomore. Anechionia.
Wichita State's defense is so much tighter early against Temple than they were in the Roundhouse.
Here's Shiz Alston.
Shaq Morris, watch him. See that little hip right there as the ball is let go? That's why he gets the offensive rebounds. A little bit of a hip check, and then Landry Shamet is wide open. The value of offensive rebounding that leads to the three-point shot. Shaq Morris so good at that little subtle hip. As soon as the ball's released, he gets away with it all the time.
They dump it into Brown. Single covered now by Frankamp. Alston. Nice jumper. Shiz Alston.
He's so good off the dribble. A lot of guys can stand and shoot, but not many guys can put the ball on the floor and pogo into their jump shot like Shiz Alston.
How about what Shaq Morris has done for the Shockers, the real X factor for this group this season?
Okay, I could make the argument that over the last month of the season, he was the best player in the American.
This is on the jumper there, but they get the offensive rebound. Here he is now for three. Greg Marshall's in his 11th season. And what a guy. We talked to him earlier tonight. He's had so much fun this season, but now realizes what his team has to go through to get to the title game. It's not quite so easy anymore, for Wichita State.
Well, this is a challenge. He's got to go through, I think, the toughest draw with Temple, and then either UCF or Houston if they're able to get by Temple. And then, of course, Cincinnati looms if they can get by Memphis. What a win by Memphis this afternoon. Tommy Smith, what a job he's done for the Memphis Tigers.
Now here's a look at the Shockers of the last few seasons from the Missouri Valley Conference. First year this year in the American. 24-6. Foul from behind, and that's on Anecchionia, and that's going to be his second. As he puts his hands at the top of his head, he's going to have to go out.
This is a huge moment in this game at 16-22 in the first half. Obi Anecchionia doesn't have position, reaches around, caught for the foul. He's one of the best pick and pop guys in the country and puts pressure on this Wichita State defense. He will sit now the first half for a majority of it.
So Devontre Perry checks in for Temple as Shamet hits another three.
I'm not sure Temple can keep it close without Anecchionia. That's how valuable he is to their offense, especially against Wichita State.
Alston for three. And there's a foul on the rebound going against the Owls. It's on Ernest Aflakpee. We'll be back. 9-4 early in favor of the Shockers.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Aaron's. Lease to own top brands in furniture, electronics, and appliances with no credit needed. Imes Pet Food, good for life. And Angry Orchard Hard Cider, naturally refreshing.
Hey, real quick, tomorrow night, Wichita State. What do you think here?
We beat them once. I think we can do it again.
There you go. I like that. I like that.
Obi Anecchionia was confident after their win last night, but now Markey's on the bench with 2 personal fouls. Now what?
Well, and especially because Obi Anecchionia is such a hard matchup for Wichita State and Temple's pick and pop offense. So what is the opportunity now? An option for Fran Dunphy. But here's why Obi Anecchionia is so valuable. He can stretch you at the 3 or number 5 position. He can set a screen, he can pop to an open space, knock down a shot. They look for him in their secondary break, and he can bang that 3 ball. Now, that's the bad news. Here's the good news. Devondre Perry hit 5 3-pointers in the roundhouse for Temple in one of the best games I've ever seen. Now, this kid is capable, but he has to come up big now in the first half because of foul trouble for Obi Anecchionia.
Last night, Temple was 11 of 22 from 3-point range. At over 50%, down by 5 here early, just over 4 minutes gone by first half.
And now Marcus McDuffie comes into the ball game, who's played very well down the stretch. Number 32 in white for Wichita State.
Shamet gets the screen from Morris, tried to get it back to him. Ball was kicked. They'll reset the shot clock to 20.
You know, Temple has offensive weapons. They've got guys like Shiz Alston who can create his own shot. Quentin Rose went for 19 points in the win versus Wichita State at Temple.
Morris. And here's Rose right now.
McDuffie matched up with Rose. That's an interesting matchup. McDuffie always in position to deny. They want to cut down his touches.
Brown, tough shot, hits it over Frankamp.
He's so good going left. He hit a shot just like that to beat SMU earlier this season in a late game situation.
Josh Brown playing in his 138th game tonight, the most in Temple basketball history.
Iron Man.
Back for his 5th season. Shaman again has hit 2 threes. Make it 3 so far in this first half, 9 of their 12 points.
He went through a dry spell for about 4 games when he shot under 20% from 3. He's back to his regular routine, shooting over 44 on the season and 44 over the last 7 games. Look at his balance. And Connor Frankamp, one of those great assist-to-turnover guys. Landry Shamet really has his offensive stroke back. A lot of hard work got his confidence back.
This is a sophomore out of Kansas City, Missouri. Foul was on Frankamp here for the Shockers. As Brown gets it in for Perry, that's an easy 2.
Yeah, Connor Frankamp got caught on the switch. Temple recognized that they isolated him down by the basket. Devondre Perry, too big, too strong.
Shaman again. First miss from 3-point range. Alston for 3, and Temple is within 1.
Yeah, heating up. Shiz Alston's so critical. When he plays well offensively along with Quentin Rose, Temple is dangerous.
First 3 of the night for the Owls. And a foul, count the basket. Frankamp connects.
Connor Frankamp has improved so much throughout his career at Wichita State right there with the mid-range jump shot, always known as a great 3-point shooter. In fact, he had the game winner against Cincinnati, didn't go down, but it doesn't affect his confidence. Shooters keep shooting.
You have to credit Frankamp. Originally went to Kansas, a guy that averaged over 30 points in high school, one of the top recruits in the nation. And comes here to a team that was very talented, and he's had to work his way in. Not that top player like he's been used to always being, but credit him for what he's done to be successful in a Shockers uniform.
Mike, I've watched Connor Frankamp go for a guy where at times it seemed like basketball was work to now basketball is a joyful exercise for him, and I've watched that transformation throughout his career.
This is such a balanced team for Wichita State. 6 seniors on this squad.
Well, that's like why guys like me in the preseason said this could be a Final Four team, and I still believe that.
A lot of experience inside. Moore, he is fouled by Rano Nurger, who's going to pick up his first for Wichita State.
Now Moore gets the ball down deep here. Let's watch Nurger. Builds it. He moves in a little bit right there. That's why. He kind of skipped into him a little bit. That's the right call by the official.
Damian Moore, just 6 minutes of action yesterday. Guy averages about 10 minutes a ball game for Temple.
You know, Mike, I think the officials have done a really good job throughout the season of cleaning up post play. A couple years ago, that probably would not have been called a foul. But because he didn't stay still and build defense, he skipped into it and had a little bit of contact. That's enough, and I think that's a good rule change for college basketball.
With all the changes, throughout the years, it's a tough job. With these officials, you call it a certain way for so long, and then they ask you to change things up a little bit, and I thought they've all done a nice job as well. I agree with you.
I like the way they've called the low block this year. I think it's been a lot more clean than it has been in previous years.
2-point ball game here. 13.5 to play, first half. Marcus McDuffie. And McDuffie is fouled. That'll be on Perry.
Mike, it's really interesting to watch Temple defensively. I like what they're doing. Whenever Landry Shamet gives the ball up, they're switching a lot, but whoever has Shamet is in full denial. They don't want him to get the ball back.
Oh, he's already hit 3 3-pointers, so no doubt about that. Here's a foul. Driving in was Darrell Willis Jr., and he'll have free throws.
Temple foul number 23.
Fran Dunphy, before the game, talked specifically about Darrell Willis and Shaq Morris inside. Those were the two guys he was most concerned about as far as their activity and ability to get to the rim.
C.J. Kaiser now in the lineup with Shamet's going to take a seat.
Well, what a day we had in Orlando today. Cincinnati, a hard-fought win over an SMU team that has overcome all these injuries, and what a job Tim Jankovic did preparing his team for the tournament. And how about Tubby Smith in Memphis with a heart-stopping finish today against Tulsa?
Wow, look out. Perry, offensive foul, and taking the charge was Nerger.
Ronno Nerger, one of those seniors, look how his feet are constantly moving, and he's just outside of the arc on that last step out. He establishes a guarding position. There he is, he's set. That's a bang-bang call, tough call, but I think the right call.
He just jumped out of there. The restricted arc area. Here's a missed 3. Fight for the rebound. Shockers had it for the moment. Willis, it'll stay with them. As Temple's already committed 17 fouls so far in this first half, 7 minutes in. As Wichita State's in the bonus the rest of this first half. Perry has 2 fouls. He goes to the bench.
Well, and that really hurts. With Obi Anechionia and now Devondre Perry, that's tough for Temple.
Certainly is. That was the guy that you said who has the capability to pick up the slack, and now he's out as well.
Now it's got to be J.P. Mormon that picks up the slack, the freshman, who's played very well.
And Mormon hyperextended his knee last game. But he is capable to play tonight. Here is a jumper. It's in and out. Shockers few opportunities. And it's Shiz Alston that has it.
Keep an eye on J.P. Mormon, number 4 for Temple in the maroon jerseys. He's been a freshman that has had good offensive games, a double-double recently.
Alston. Moore with a high ball screen for Brown. Rebound pulled home by Austin Reeves.
Good defensive set by Wichita State.
Reeves underneath, and Brown takes it away.
Great anticipation by Josh Brown.
Mormon thought about the 3. Good patience here by the Owls.
And really good half-court defense by Wichita State. Good ball movement.
Brown, and is fouled by Kaiser.
Landry Shamet. He makes the Wichita State offense go from one of the better assisted turnover guys in the country, Connor Frankamp.
The personification of rivalry.
It's ridiculous how good this is.
UNC and Duke. The saga continues.
Almost feels like every other game. It's North Carolina and Duke right now, isn't it?
It certainly is, and the guy that has played so well for North Carolina, as good as anybody in the country right now, is Theo Pinson. And knocking down the 3 ball at a regular clip. Defensively, he's so long, plays that fingertip-to-fingertip defense. He has been so good for Roy Williams. I love the way Theo Pinson's been playing.
It's the New York Life ACC tournament, and Duke and North Carolina. North Carolina won the first matchup this season, 82-78. Duke came back, won the next one, 74-64. They're going at it again tonight. Here from Orlando, it's Wichita State leading by 4 in this quarterfinal matchup, winner to the semifinals.
And the big story so far is Obi Anecchionia with 2 fouls, Devondre Perry with 2 fouls, and depth could be a huge factor. If depth is, Shockers have the advantage.
Quentin Rose. Tough fadeaway. And ripped away by the Shockers' Daryl Willis.
That's a man's rebound right there.
Willis is held and fouled on the 18th foul by the Owls in this first frame. 1 and 1.
And the coaches for Temple are yelling at Damian Moore. Can't take that lift fake. I mean, when you watch Wichita State, you know Daryl Willis is going to give you a lift fake from the three-point line. He wants to put it down with his left hand. That's in the scouting report.
Anecchionia, Perry, and Moore all have 2 fouls right now for the Temple Owls.
Mike, those are the little things fans don't see and understand, that there is a scouting report. I mean, this is the 3rd time they've played these guys. There are no secret tendencies anymore. And when you buy that head fake, you let your team down.
And those are the difference-making plays when you add them up throughout
Absolutely.
a game.
Difference between winning championships and going home. It's that simple. Here's where you can't make mistakes in the tournament.
Quentin Rose get it knocked away. Shockers on the run. Shave it, touch pass for Kelly. Oh, right back the other way on the Owls. As Pierre Louis unable to finish it, got it from Moore.
A little bit of magic here in Orlando. The Aladdin of the American, Landry Shamet. He grants wishes with assists.
And a carry violation. And Zach Brown. It's a 9-2 Wichita State run, though, however, to lead by 8.
Can you tell I like Disney World a little bit?
You do?
You know, I just can't help myself.
You're going to go able to check it out here while you're
You
in
know,
town?
I haven't, and it's killing me. But I did watch cartoons this morning,
Okay.
so I think that counts.
Try
for
to get into
something.
the mood.
I watched Aladdin, as a matter of fact.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's all about Aladdin here tonight. Here's a 3 for Josh Brown. Temple needed that.
Yeah, he's gutty. He is just a go-to gutty performer for Fran Duffy. One of my favorite guys in the American, Josh Brown.
Shamet. And Brown fouls him. He's upset with himself. That's his first foul.
Temple foul number 1, Josh Brown, his first, team's 9.
See, Josh Brown is one of those guys who understands the little things wins basketball games. And he's been one of the guys that hasn't accepted the ups and downs of this program and continued to challenge his team to do the little things, to make a difference, to be in a championship situation here in Orlando.
24.
How about Shamet's story is Mom Melody has to be very proud of a guy who's kind of made his own way. He was a star in AAU basketball back in Kansas City. Now just a sophomore here at Wichita State. His future looks very bright.
He didn't play for the Marquee brand AAU team, which says a lot about Landry Shamet. You know, it's not about the brand name, it's about the people that he surrounds himself in his life. And his mother, obviously, Melanie, has been a huge influence. He's a very respectful, very kind, very well-spoken young man, and a tremendous leader as a sophomore. That's what we forget. Let's get to sophomore. He's the leader of this basketball team.
Right. We talk about the 6 seniors that they have. I mean, he's only a sophomore, he's the best player.
And he's the leader.
Quentin Rose has been held in check here early for Temple, their best threat. Now he has it and relocates for 3. Rebound by Shaq Morris. On the drive, Reeves. The tip is there by Kelly.
Speaking of little things, they become big things. That's what Rashard Kelly does. He follows the shots relentlessly.
9-point lead here for Wichita State. Brown has it back with a shot clock inside 10.
Kelly matched up with an Anecchionia. Josh Brown decides to take it and make it. He's a sit down and shut up player. Everybody needs one. He is a sit-down and shut-up guy. When the crowd's going crazy, he makes shots.
That's 2 big threes right there for the Temple Owls. That one brings them within 6. And nobody home with the pass from Kelly. Thought Brown was headed to the corner, and they'll talk it out.
Mike, the ups and downs for Temple are well documented. They have some tremendous wins, including a win over Wichita State. But the one guy that is a winner on this team, night in and night out to me, is Josh Brown. The way he carries himself, the way he competes every night defensively and offensively. A great teammate, number 1 for Temple.
That's off the hands of a Flackby. Tough pass that time by Josh Brown. Well, that's what has to have Fran Dunphy on the other side for Temple scratching his head a little bit. They've had so many really good wins this season, but then in some of their losses, it's either been feast or famine.
Yeah.
They've either been in it or they've lost 6 games by 18 or more points. They really haven't contested.
Yeah, it's been a very un-Fran Dunphy-like season because this Temple program has always been consistent under him.
Three-pointer on the way by Reeves. And a foul on the rebound in the Shocker. So here's a look at their resume. And earlier this year, I mean, their numbers were very good.
Auburn, Clemson, at SMU with Shake Milton, by the way, and that was an NCAA tournament team until about 4 weeks ago. They knocked off Wichita State in Philadelphia, but then you've got the losses on their schedule, and in some cases, some losses where they lost by 24, 25. Now, a lot of programs have gone through that this year, by the way, but it's been really up and down for Temple.
Rose up the window.
He needs to get going. They need him to step up. He had 19 in the win against Wichita State in Philadelphia. He's their best offensive gifted weapon.
That was a home win for them when they were down by 14, came back and won it, and then they were down by the same margin, or up by the same margin at Wichita State and lost.
They were up 56-42 at the end of the first half. Rashard Kelly again, little things, stepping to the open space.
Shiz Alston for Rose. Kept alive by Flackby. And now it's Pierre-Louis for 3.
And
multiple players, Mark, have hit 3-pointers at crucial times for the Owls.
Yeah, and their guards are playing well. Nate Pierre-Louis, a physical, tough freshman who's matched up with Landry Shamet right now.
Alston, Pierre-Louis, and Brown have all hit big threes for Temple as they get this rebound by J.P. Mormon.
Rose is really looking to attack too. You can see it in his eyes.
3-point ball game. Alston shut off in the corner.
Seven on the shot clock.
Alston inside for a Flackby. Count it.
Boy, the guards are now getting into gaps and making plays. They're making jump shots, which extends the defense. Now Shiz Alston gets into a gap and finds a Flackby.
Pretty good patience, too, on that offensive possession there. As they're down by just 1 now, the Owls. Close the gap, trailing by as many as 9. And a steal. Nate Pierre-Louis. And he blows the layup. 5 on 4. Pierre-Louis gets back. Morris for 3.
Well, now Nate Pierre-Louis has to put that play behind him. You can't worry about it now. You just got to make it up on the next possession and play harder.
Alston. Morris the rebound. Easier to put that play behind you when the Shockers didn't hit that 3-pointer. A little bit of 5-point swing. Now Shamet. His 4th 3 of the night.
Nate Pierre-Louis and Shiz Alston were in the vicinity to pressure Landry Shamet, and neither one of them stepped up. Lack of communication defensively on that possession for Temple.
Shamet's already at his average of 14 points. And it's a 4-point lead as Alston misses. Mormon tips it to Kelly. Oh, almost a travel, no call. as the ball was loose, and now here's Frankamp, and he scores it. I don't know about that last one.
I'm enjoying the pace, though.
Yes.
This is fun. This last 2 or 3 minutes is what I expected all night long.
Rose is fouled from behind by Zach Brown.
When Landry Shamet has the basketball, you've got to communicate. Nate Pierre-Louis right there. Shiz Alston's right there, but they give him the window. When you open the window, in comes Aladdin.
Thornton gets it to Bruton. Kareem Bruton Jr. for the win. Yes! Memphis wins! Kareem Bruton!
Our colleague Kevin Brown on the call for Memphis's win, and how about that for them? I mean, they were struggling. They lost to USF by 24 points near the end of the year. Good for them to get those wins.
They've won 8 out of their last 9 now, and Memphis and Tubby Smith now will take on Cincinnati tomorrow, and that shot is going to haunt Tulsa. They did not turn Bruton, and Bruton came down, let it fly, and all of a sudden, Memphis is down in the semifinals of the American Championships here in Orlando.
Rose for 3, got it from deep, and Quentin Rose cuts the lead down to 3. Got that pass from Obi Anecchionia, who's back in with the 2 personal fouls.
Yeah, Quentin Rose starting to feel it.
Right back the other way, though. It's Darrell Willis Jr. Counters for the 3.
It's been an offensive feast over the last 4 minutes of this game.
Pretty good shooting by both teams, 45%. Each of them shooting right now in this first half. And Flakby was face guarded by Nerger, and they get the play the other way as thrown off the front rim by Frankamp.
Watch for Rose. They wanted to get it to him. Good job of getting your hands up defensively in transition.
Temple forced that one in transition. Now Frankamp. Travel on Marcus McDuffie. We'll be back. 6-point lead for the Shockers late in this first half.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal, Investments, Retirement, Insurance, and X.
Up 6 over Temple because of transition defense and communication and using their hands, getting them up. Watch 33, Connor Frankamp, as he communicates first. He's going to take the ball. Now look at Darrell Willis. He's pointing toward Obi Anecchionia and Quentin Rose, and Connor, because he has his hands up, and Darrell Willis, because he has his hands up. They get the deflection and the steal as 4 guys are sprinting back.
That's a really good point right there, Mark. And you saw it on that replay sequence. Communication so vital. How this group has been under Greg Marshall. And yeah, look at this. I mean, they get a win here tonight. 25 wins for the 9th consecutive year, which would be the nation's 4th longest streak. And it's unbelievable what they've done. They spent the entire year in the top 25. Here's a look at their success over the years. The Final Four, 35-0 before falling to Kentucky 3 years ago.
Yeah,
4 years ago.
Then 2015, beating Kansas, going to the Sweet 16, a 3-2 NCAA tournament record. That doesn't even count 2011, champions of the NIT. 2012, they were number 5 seed, lost to VCU in that NCAA tournament. What a run by Greg Marshall at Wichita State.
Here's a 3 by Mormon, and he gets it to the act for Temple. Back to a 3-point game.
Freshman with a huge upside for Fran Dunphy and J.P. Mormon.
Kaiser. Extended minutes early in this first half. Frankamp follows his own shot. And it scoots out to Temple. Shockers have also had 4 30-win seasons in the last 5 years. And I'll let that sink in for a second.
Yeah.
Two and a half to go first half. Venezionia. Strong drive to the hole, and he draws the foul. Coming up on the Audi halftime report, Sexton leading the way for Alabama, Cincinnati with the win today. And of course, the conference tournaments continuing through the weekend before selection shows Sunday. We'll have it all for you coming up on the Audi halftime report.
Boy, Gary Clark was so solid today for Cincinnati. That defensive juggernaut under Mick Cronin finally just wore down a very game and tough SMU basketball team. SMU laid everything on the line against Cincinnati. And Cincinnati took every punch and returned every punch and then a few more.
This whole season, SMU. Give Tim Jankovic and his team a ton of credit. They let out their best player in the NBA talent and Shake Milton. And they battle night in and night out. And to go from being a tournament team, Joe Lunardi had them in the tournament, one of the teams out of this conference, to not in the conversation because of all the injuries. That's tough.
Yeah, Dre Foster was arguably their second best player during that time when he went down, and then Shake Milton went down after that. And the Wichita State fans got to see exactly how good Shake Milton is, as he dropped 33 in the roundhouse when SMU won at Wichita State.
It is Cincinnati and Memphis tomorrow in our first semifinal matchup. Here's an alley-oop play from Shamit to McDuffie. Winner of this game moves on to the semifinals to take on the winner of Houston and UCF in our nightcap.
Like Quentin Rose, like to see him move hard without the basketball, matched up with Marcus McDuffie right now. 13 versus 32 on the backsides. Alston from downtown again with a hand in his face.
1 point ball game, minute 40 first half.
These two teams seem to have each other's number. They just play each other tough and entertaining basketball.
Kept alive to the offensive end, Morris. Shot clock at 10. Frankamp. That's a tough shot, and he drains it.
You know what I like about Connor Frankamp? He never stops shooting. He believes he's going to make his next shot. He never lets his last shot affect him of being aggressive with his next shot.
Shockers fans making some noise here in Orlando. Frankamp with 7 points. Alston.
Good pass.
Morgan for 3. Go quickly here, perhaps a 2 for 1.
Watch Shaq Morris inside.
Yeah, they try to get it into him. You're right, Mark. Temple timeout. We'll step aside for 30 seconds and be right back. Phillips 66 Big 12 Men's Basketball Championship underway. Kansas and Kansas State. And later tonight, West Virginia and Texas Tech. 1-4-2-3 chalk here in the semifinals.
And West Virginia with Javon Carter. You know, I think he's become the favorite player of all college basketball analysts throughout the year. You know, all of us are former coaches. We just want to coach that guy.
Right.
You know, he's got that Huggins toughness about him. He's a leader out there. I tell you, he scares his teammates half to death.
Right.
Huggins doesn't have to scare him. Carter does.
That's a good way to put it. 25 seconds to go first half. 4 seconds and change the differential with the shot clock and the game clock. Temple, 6 of their last 8 made field goals have been 3-pointers as they are within 3. Venezionia, 5 to shoot. Alston needs to put it up. Not going to happen. Shot clock violation. 4 seconds left.
And now with 4 seconds, we see Darrell Willis come in. We see Austin Reeves come in. Austin Reeves, a big guard that can shoot over people. And Landry Shamet with good vision of the open man.
Shamet 4 of 5 from 3-point range in this first half. See the rest of the team 1 for 7. Let's see what happens here. They're going to put 5.2 seconds on the clock. Here's Shamet. 2 seconds to go. That's good if it goes. It is! Shamet, 5 threes. What a way to end the half.
We compared him to Aladdin to open this game because he can make Wichita State's dreams come true. Landry Shamet, ice water.
5 of 6 from three-point range with 17 points at the half. Shockers by 6. Coming up, the Audi halftime report right after these messages. This is Champ Week presented by Principal as we welcome you back to the 2018 Aaron's American Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Championship quarterfinal round action as the Shockers lead it by 6, 42-36. Welcome back, everyone, to Orlando. Mike Corey, Mark Adams. Pretty high-level basketball so far here in the first half.
You know, Mike, usually when you watch a first half, you go through your highlights and you pick out 2 or 3 things. But in this case, we had a Landry list of things to choose from. He was so good as Landry Shamet just made play after play after play, starting off the half with the lob inside, making Marcus McDuffie better. And then the tip pass back to Rashard Kelly for the dunk. And then the jump shot. Watch the fish hook at the end. Pose for me, Landry Shamet. And then at the end of the first half, cold-blooded jump shot. Landry Shamet, you need a leader at crunch time. Landry Shamet has been that leader in the first half.
5 made threes, ties a season high for him. His career high is 6. And some of them that he's hit with the guys right in his face.
Yeah. Oh, he really has his offensive mojo in a positive direction tonight. And listen, credit Wichita State for recognizing it and putting him in position to score time after time. 17 points in the first half.
I thought not a bad job by Temple as well. Credit Fran Dunphy and his staff dealing with foul trouble in that first half. 3 guys had 2 fouls. They had to do a lot of shifting around there.
Yeah, Josh Brown and Shiz Alston both came up big. I think the key offensive weapon for Temple to win this game, Quentin Rose, number 13, in the maroon jerseys for Temple.
Brown gets it knocked away. Shaq Morris, nice defensive play. And here's Shamet. Graham Camp. Here's Kelly. Dumps it for Morris. Shamet's got 5 to shoot. Shamet. Almost his 6th 3 of the night. We've got a foul. As we bring in the American Athletic Conference Coach of the Year, Kelvin Sampson, whose Houston team is in action versus UCF in our nightcap. Coach, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on what you've done up to this point. What's the biggest focus as you get ready for the Knights here tonight?
I think just keep playing hard, understand who we are, what we hang our hat on every day, every game. Just because it's a tournament game doesn't mean anything changes.
Kelvin, this is like a Star Wars matchup. You guys play defense like Kylo Ren, and UCF plays defense like Darth Vader. What makes UCF's defense so good?
I think their length for us, Mark. You know, we're 6'1", 6 foot in the backcourt with, you know, if you include Devin Davis in there, he's about 6'5 and a half, maybe 6'6", and with A.J. Davis at 6'6", and then Allen and DeJesus, Munnan, Griffin. You know, their length is a concern for us. I thought they did a great job defensing their players. They didn't play as well as they're playing now when we played them then, but this will be a tough matchup for us.
Kelvin, in the size rankings across NCAA basketball, you're ranked number 318th in height in the country by average. Yet you're the top 10 rebounding team in the country. You're the best rebounding munchkins in America. Yeah. Why are you so good at rebounding?
Well, I think our kids have big hearts. It's important to them. Something, obviously, as a coaching staff, we emphasize every day. But, you know, you can emphasize it all you want. Unless those kids jump in with 2 feet and buy into it, it's not going to happen. So I tip my cap to our kids.
Kelvin, congratulations. You are the Coach of the Year in the American. You have earned it, and I congratulate you.
I appreciate it, Mark. Thank you very much.
Coach, thanks a lot for joining us, and good luck tonight.
Okay.
And Kelvin Sampson and the Houston Cougars taking on the UCF Knights in our final quarterfinal matchup here tonight in Orlando. That's going to be a lot of fun as well.
You know me. I'm really jacked about that. But as good as this game is offensively and entertaining, wait till you see these two teams get down and flat out guard you. It's going to be a blast to watch if you love college basketball and you love great defensive teams.
Just saw right there 0 for Temple. Obi Enechionia back into the lineup. Picked up his 3rd personal foul just a few minutes ago. A minute ago, as we're just underway in the second half. He's back in. Brown for 3. Count it, Josh Brown.
Playing with confidence. I love the look in his eye tonight.
Kelly.
Good spacing.
Yep,
they got to get Shaq Morris involved, and they do. Shaq Morris was non-existent offensively in the first half, but knocks down that deuce from the baseline.
A flat P. Nice little hook.
Not known as an offensive juggernaut down low, but Ernest Aflakpi, if he can give you anything in the paint, that's a big plus for Temple.
An early foul trouble yesterday. Just 4 points in 10 minutes of action. A lot of contact inside. Ball is tipped out. And there's a foul as on the deck was Morris. And fouled Brown of Temple. So Shaq Morris picks up his 2nd for the Shockers as they lead by 3.
Yeah, Shaq Morris gets decked right here and goes soccer on us. You know, if that was a soccer player, would have fell down and grabbed his leg like he was dead.
You're not a soccer fan.
You know, when guys get fouled or whatever they call it, I don't know. I mean, they fall down like they broke their leg. You know, they sell the call. They sell the call.
Here in town, yeah, I understand that.
See, watch this.
Yep.
See, that's a soccer player.
It is.
And listen, Josh Brown should fall down now, hold on to his shin, like he's crippled for the remainder of his life.
Got to get a timeout somehow,
yeah,
right? And that's
exactly.
That's how you do it.
And now they're going to look at this to see if it's an intentional foul or not. See if it's flagrant foul.
Definition of the flagrant 1 foul is unnecessary and excessive. So does that fall into that category, him sticking his leg out there? And we'll see what the officials say when they take a look at the monitor and the replay. 3-point lead here for the Shockers at 44-41.
I could make the argument that he was trying to kick the ball in order for Temple not to get a run out on the break, which is not a bad play, by the way.
Our officials tonight, Carl Hess, Byron Jarrett, and Jose Carrion. They're still discussing it.
It's a hard call for the official because it really is a gray area there. Is he making a play on the ball with his foot? And I think that's really the question that they need to ask, or is he trying to trip the offensive player?
Well, as we said, excessive and unnecessary and not having a legitimate play on the ball.
See, I can make the argument it was a legitimate play on the ball. But how many guys do it with their feet?
But it's not soccer. That's the thing. Mark, you can't do
right.
that. Carl Hess is going to come over here and tell us, and they did call it a flagrant 1 foul. We'll get the exact explanation here for you in just a second. Less than 3 minutes in, so they will call Morris for the flagrant 1. That's what we're told, right?
Yeah, they decided that it was an attempt at an intentional trip, and therefore becomes a flagrant 1 foul. Of course, Greg Marshall's asked the question, wait a minute, is it possible he's going for the basketball? But the officials determined that it was actually an attempted trip versus a play on the ball.
Right, you can't really do that with your foot. That's not really a play on the ball.
So there's the ball.
With your foot, yeah. He's not making a legitimate play on the ball. And so a flagrant foul assessed to Morris.
I got to tell you, just watching, I understand why they called it, okay? I don't have a problem with the call. But watching Shaq Morris's eyes, watch his eyes. He's focused on the ball. He's not focused on Josh Brown coming to get the basketball. I think he's trying to kick the ball to just stop the break.
Reaction from Morris as he has this ball now, and they're going to call a jump ball. And he's even more infuriated, although it's going to be Shockers' ball. And the Rashad Kelly trying to settle him down a little bit.
Well, Shaq Morris, is becoming a lot more aggressive. We've seen it offensively, we've seen it defensively, going after loose balls. Now he's playing with more passion. That's what Greg Marshall wants out of him.
I mean, that's the right call, though. It's a jump ball.
Yeah, it's a jump ball. It's the right call. Shaq Morris, you know, a lot of folks announcing their games have referenced him as being a 280-pound guy. He tweeted this week that he's only 262. So I promised him I would call him Slim tonight. So Shaq, I have kept my promise. 262, Slim Morris.
We saw him
Wichita State
before the game. He said, thank you very much. Here he is now going to work on the offensive end. Count the basket and the foul. You felt like that was coming.
He's only 262 pounds, but Slim uses those 262 pounds effectively in the paint. He has really come to work down the block, and credit Greg Marshall and the Wichita State staff for getting him more involved. He had 0 points first half.
And it's been well talked about with him that he wasn't the hardest worker, didn't have the greatest work ethic. Well, he really changed that this season.
He ran more stadium stairs maybe than any Wichita State player in history, just to get his attention to play harder. He would go off in a stretcher for a hangnail on occasion. Wasn't exactly the toughest dude, but now he's one of the toughest dudes in college basketball. I love how he's matured.
Shavit nails a three and ties his career high now with 6. To Austin, you got it. Traveling violation.
The last time Wichita State got a run, Temple responded. Wichita State got another run, Temple responded. Let's see how the Temple Owls respond now.
The 3-ball has helped the Owls out. They've had 5 different players score a 3 to get them back in it, as you said. Here's a 3-ball for the Shockers. Zach Brown. There's a foul on Temple. And we'll be back. 7-point lead for Wichita State here in the quarterfinals.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal, Investments, Retirement, Insurance, and Angry Orchard Hard Cider, naturally refreshing.
You know that feeling that you only get this time of year?
Sexton, he got it!
Welcome back.
Champ Week continues, presented by Principal, as we welcome you back to the Aaron's American Athletic Conference Championship quarterfinal round action. Game 3 of 4 here tonight, and what a good one we've seen so far. Shockers on top by 7.
And a great day in the American as Cincinnati survives against SMU, and then Memphis knocks off number 4 seed Tulsa. Tubby Smith doing a masterful job with the Tigers without Jeremiah Martin, their best player.
Here's Connor Frankamp for 3. Follows his own shot.
Little things. How many guys follow their own shot nowadays?
Total heads-up play by him. Now free again. Thought about the 3 instead. Morris. Shaq Morris fouled.
Where Shaq Morris is working so hard to catch the ball deep. Connor Frankamp, look at, I mean, he's just a big target inside. J.P. Mormon gets stuck on his backside. Shaq Morris has all the paint to work with down low because he's so deep.
First foul on J.P. Mormon as Sanechionia comes back in, and the Flackpee takes a seat.
Greg Marshall has gotten Shaq Morris' attention at halftime.
Quentin Rose. Fouled by Frankamp. Sanechionia, 3 fouls tonight. Just the 1 point after coming off that 19-point effort. 5 of 7 from 3-point range last night.
Yeah, and he was such a weapon for Temple especially in the roundhouse when they took that 14-point lead in the first half. He was picking and popping and making shots. But foul trouble has kept him on the bench more times than not for Temple so far tonight. He's going to sit again.
Trying to manage his minutes right now. Quentin Rose, real breakout season for him, just a sophomore.
I loved him as a freshman, and he's gotten better as a sophomore. This is a guy that has a lot of layers to his offensive game. Explosive as an offensive weapon for Temple. Number 13 now matched up with Zach Brown. Nice switches off to Rashard Kelly down low.
Rose is the last cut on the under-19 team for Team USA. Worked on his jumper a lot this year. Now can shoot the outside shot. You know he's explosive going to the hole. Here's Kelly. Fight for the rebound. Morris is all over the place. Out of bounds off of Temple, and they're infuriated. Morris is banged up. Holding his left knee.
3 Temple jerseys around Shaq Morris, but he goes up with 2 hands. That's the difference. Ernest Aflakpee went up with 1 hand, and it looked like Shaq Morris. That probably should be Temple's ball the way that looked.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he kind of flung it out of bounds there. Unless they say it got deflected by either Mormon or Josh Brown. You can't review that, though, until under 2 minutes to go in the game, so the call stands.
Oh, they're just feeding the big
Morris
dog.
is mugged underneath. That's a foul on Aflakpee. And now he has to watch it. That's 4.
Shaq Morris is dominating inside. He's using that big body of his and just going after Aflakpee or Mormon. It doesn't matter who's defending. He's using them in the paint.
Fran Dunphy on the other side for Temple has to be thinking, okay, what can I do here? I've been shifting big guys in and out of this lineup. They got to play under control even though they're frustrated.
You surely can't play behind him.
That's Kelly.
That was Fran Dunphy's biggest concern. Could they stop the big guys for Wichita State? In the second half, it's been hard to do just that.
Mormon finds Moore, and he's short.
Gee, I wonder what Wichita State's going to do on this possession. Just watch number 24 down low. Matched up with Moore.
Shamit's got his eyes down there looking for him. And a foul on Mormon. Second on him.
Foul number 4, J.P. Mormon, the second. His second foul, team at 6.
When he turns it on, Mike, he makes them Final Four elite. That's how good he is. And a tremendous offside defender. Not a great on-ball defender, but a really good offside defender. Can block shots, moves his feet. When he's engaged, Wichita State goes into a different stratosphere offensively.
Most impactful player that they've had this season in terms of the jump that he made and the dedication to his game.
They're going to give it to him again. There he is.
Foul. Almost had it.
You can't play behind him, Mike. You've got to at least get on the high side or try to front him and get some backside help. Because if you play behind him, and he's looking, he wants the ball to swing. He's pointing to Connor Frankamp. Give it to Zach Brown. Now look how he sits down. Catches it, little inside pivot. Look at his right foot as he pins the defender. That's really good footwork.
Now what can you do if you're Temple defensively, knowing that they want to get it into him? He's got the hot hand, and he's kind of in the Owls' heads right now.
You got to play on the high side, deny him the basketball, and when he catches it, you got to run another defender at him, which, by the way, is difficult because of the spacing and the shooters that Wichita State can throw at you. But right now, he's killing you. You got to stop option number 1.
It's an 11-2 run by the Shockers to take their largest lead of the game at 10.
Well, here's where Josh Brown has come up big throughout this game and made big shots. He's been their sit-down and shut-up guy offensively.
There's a foul on Shamet with his second.
Wichita State foul, number 11. His second, team has scored.
Watch number 1 in maroon on this offensive possession. Watch Josh Brown. He's been their go-to guy at critical times as Connor Frankamp comes out.
No field goals for Temple in the last 4 minutes plus. Alston. Just not getting the bounces. A revolving door right now here with the Owls and their substitutions.
Well, you know what, Mike? Remember, you're not just playing in the quarterfinals tonight. You're playing for the quarters, the semis, and the championship game. So you got to keep fresh bodies coming into the basketball game. It's more like hockey substitutions in the quarterfinals for the insurance policy later on, not only in this game, but further down the line in the tournament.
Wichita State knows that they're already in the big dance. Temple's got to win this entire tournament to have a chance, and here's Rose. Showtime.
Shiz Alston right there with a really cool tip. Got the deflection, just tipped it out in front for Quentin Rose.
9 points for Temple's leading scorer, averages 14.7 a game. They get another steal. Rose again. And foul by Shamet, who picks up his third.
Watch Shiz Alston. Ball goes up there. Watch what he does. He just tips it. Tips it out to Quentin Rose. That is a smart basketball play by Shiz Alston. And then another loose ball and give it to your finisher, Quentin Rose. Smart play by the freshman J.P. Mormon to give it up to the leading scorer, Quentin Rose.
Great job by the Owls there. And that tip ball, that reminded me of the one that Shamet had earlier on that fast break where he tapped it back to Kelly for a dunk. And so Temple, who's made some runs that get back in it here throughout this game numerous times, working on another one here, down by just 6.
Not to bring up a gratuitous Philadelphia reference, but I've done it with Orlando all night.
All right, go ahead.
This is like Apollo Creed Rocky type stuff. I mean, they just keep going back and forth, don't they? As soon as you think one of them's counted out, then all of a sudden Rocky comes back, the Philadelphia bunch. This is fun.
So Aladdin versus Rocky tonight is what you're telling me. Frankamp.
Wait till the next game, Pards.
Yeah. Here's Rose. Temple off and running, and Quentin Rose, with a strong take, will shoot a pair. Now they've got the momentum on their side.
Wichita State foul number 33, Connor Frankamp. Third personal foul.
How about the Houston players
Team foul. Quentin Rose
watching as they get ready for UCF tonight?
And one of the great defensive teams in America going up against another great defensive team in America. 2 top 10 teams in defensive field goal percentage in Houston. Pound for pound, inch for inch, the best rebounding team in America. Watch them in this next game.
Rose makes it a 5-point game. Reeves brings it over against Pierre-Louis. Nerger inside. Open is McDuffie. Offensive rebound, not there for Willis. And it's Temple on the run again. Pierre-Louis finishes.
We got a basketball game. We knew this was going to happen. These two teams match up well, and it always comes down the stretch.
Was a 10-point Shockers lead. It's down to 3. Frankamp makes it 5. Rose.
He feels
Long
it.
NBA range.
He feels it. I can see it in his eyes.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Saw it in the roundhouse. Welcome to a new rivalry in the American. Temple and Wichita State. How good is this?
These teams split the season series. Temple won at home, had a huge lead at Wichita State and lost. Shockers inside for McDuffie, and he's fouled. What a matchup here tonight. in Orlando. Quarterfinals. Shockers and the Owls not disappointing. 2-point ball game.
Yo, Adrian.
BJ Taylor on the left, AJ Davis on the right for the UCF Knights entering the house here in Orlando at the Amway Center, getting ready to take on Houston in our final quarterfinal matchup tonight. But how about this one here first? Mike Corey, Mark Adams, 57 to 55. The Owls right there again, Mark.
Boy, Temple just so impressive with their ability to take punches, bounce back, and all of a sudden now Quentin Rose starting to show his offensive repertoire. Defensively, Temple starting to pick up the pressure, get some deflections, get in the open court. I love the way this team competes, especially against Wichita State.
Quentin Rose has scored the last 10 of 12 points for Temple, and he's done it all in the last 4 minutes and 15 seconds to kind of inch their way back in it.
And you could see it in his eyes that it was go-to guy time for Quentin Rose, and he rises to the occasion.
Well, you said it when he was standing 2 feet beyond the NBA imaginary arc, here, and he nailed that shot.
You can tell when guys want the basketball. Right now, Quentin Rose, he really wants the basketball. He wants to take and make big plays for Temple. Number 13 for Temple. Keep an eye on him as Wichita State comes out in zone now out of the timeout.
There he is. 6 to shoot. Rose. Oh, what a strong take using the window.
He took the bump. He initiated the bump to get some space from Connor Frankamp and finishes off the glass.
So smooth with his moves.
He really is. I love watching him play. He's a very entertaining player.
Sophomore out of Rochester, New York. Temple Owls right in it. 2-point game. And here's a three. Frankamp is way off. Out of bounds to Temple. Off of McDuffie.
Watch Quentin Rose. Watch his left shoulder. Watch how he initiates contact with his left shoulder to give himself a little bit of space right there. And look how he lowers that shoulder to get leverage, and he's lower than the defender. That gives him the explosiveness to the basket. Strong move by Quentin Rose.
Stars out tonight. Shamet with 20 points, tying a career high with 6 3-pointers. Quentin Rose really asserting himself here in this second half for Temple.
Remember, though, Shamet had 17 points in the first half, only 3 here in the second half. Credit that Temple defense.
Alston hands off for Perry. Offensive foul. That was Rashard Kelly that took the charge that time. And that's 4 fouls on Devontre Perry.
That got a little bit out of control right there. When you're out of control against Rashard Kelly, who understands every defensive situation, stepped in and took the charge.
And 1 more foul by the Owls, and that's 10, and Wichita State's going to be in the double bonus for the rest of the game, and we're just over the halfway point of the second half.
Shiz Alston matched up with Landry Shamet. That's the matchup you want to watch. Shamet needs to become more aggressive now after a 17-point first half.
Shockers looking for this quarterfinal victory, give them 25 wins for the 9th consecutive year. That would be the nation's 4th longest streak. The winner of this game takes on the winner of Houston, UCF, which comes your way after this one here tonight in Orlando. Shamet, yes.
Right on cue.
.22 for Shamet. Now is it Rose's turn. Gets bumped. That's a good call. Foul there as McDuffie hit him, and then Rose hits a shot.
Watch Landry Shamet move without the basketball in the far corner. Comes up top. Gets denied. Back cuts to the basket. Shiz Alston, he loses vision. Notice how Shamet cuts in V's. He doesn't round things off in C's. That was a great V cut to the top, knife to the basket.
When you look at Quentin Rose, also an NBA talent, what are some of the other aspects of his game that you want to see progress.
You know what I like best about him, Mike? I love his ceiling. As a freshman, listen, Temple had no idea Quentin Rose was as good as he was as a freshman. Then he makes the leap as a sophomore as an even better player. How good is he going to be as a junior and senior? Now, body-wise, he's not ready for the next level. I think offensively he is, but body-wise, I don't think he can take the punishment. As he gets bigger and stronger as a man, he's got a huge upside as a big-time player.
Nobody picked up Kelly.
And Shaq Morris just screened off the entire defense for Rashard Kelly.
J.P. Mormon found an opening and took it.
He's fearless. Another freshman that continues to get better. He wasn't even on my team sheet early in the season. He was on the last page.
Right.
Now he's playing significant minutes. J.P. Mormon, just the freshman, number 4 for Temple.
Had 10 points in 20 minutes of action yesterday. Temple's first round win. Here is Reeves for 3.
He scored over 70 points in a high school game. Sweet looking stroke.
Sophomore from Arkansas, 5-point Shockers lead. And a steal. Morris gets it to Reeves. And look out! McDuffie. Coach Dunphy trying to let his team play through this here. 10 to shoot. Two to shoot. Alston
See it.
gets it off in time.
Guess who got the rebound? Shaq Morris. He's been everywhere.
Shockers fans are on their feet. Reeves. McDuffie again. Got rejected.
J.P. Mormon. Big-time defensive play by the freshman.
That was huge. Momentum run on the side of the Shockers right now. Alston, shake and bake for 3. Wow.
Tough. Tough. How good is this?
The Owls withstanding these runs by Wichita State. Foul here. And McDuffie to the free throw line when we come back.
Mike in the roundhouse, I didn't think it could get much better. But tonight, it's really, really good. In the immortal words of Adam Amin during that game, I love this game. In the second half, a message was sent, delivered, and received to Shaq Morris. Defensive rebounding. Defensive smart plays to help out. Offensively, attacking defenders, getting lower, being more aggressive. Continuing to work for position. Why? Because it's not just your ability to score with the basketball, it's your ability to wall off 2 defenders and Rashard Kelly to go and get it. This dude had 0 points in the first half. He's made the biggest difference in the second half.
Numbers look pretty good now as Marcus McDuffie is at the free throw line. Wichita State led by 10. Just under 14 minutes to go. Temple had a 10-2 run to cut it to 2. Wichita State, though, Mark, continuing to not flinch. Temple has closed the gap to 2 points 4 times this half.
Yeah, we've talked about how there's separation and then recovery. Separation and recovery. And Temple's been on life support a couple times, but you know what? Life support's worked out really well for him. They keep battling back.
Largest lead was 10 by the Shockers. Temple has never led in this game. Now they're down by 5. By the way, Devontre Perry fouled out. He was the one that was called for the foul before the timeout. So they're without his services for the rest of the game as Rose is fouled from behind by Zach Brown.
And remember, Devontre Perry hit 5 3-pointers in the loss at the Roundhouse earlier this season for Temple.
It's a 1-on-1 here for Quentin Rose.
So look at his body, look at his shoulders. He's still a kid. I mean, he's gonna grow, mature, get bigger, stronger, faster. He is going to be an absolute monster to deal with.
That's the front half of the 1-1. He's 6'8". The height is there, but he's just 185 is what he's listed weight-wise. Over the top for Morris. Offensive rebound, Brown.
How did he get that out?
Well, they still have it on the offensive end.
What a save by Zach Brown.
Morris for Shamit.
So he beat Shiz Alston on a back cut. That time he beat Josh Brown on a back cut.
When you think about Morris, you've been talking about him. We just saw his points, his rebounds. How about the vision there for the assist?
And Landry Shamit, how well he moves without the basketball.
Mormon, good look for three. Shamit double teamed up high. Kelly gets it to Brown. That's a three.
And it's 10 again. Can Temple respond another time?
How many more runs do they have in him? Rose for three.
It's a big defensive possession for Temple. Shamit hunting.
Deflected out by Alston. What do you think? A little too quick on that one on the offensive end?
Maybe a little bit, but you know what? It's Quentin Rose. You got to let him play. You got to let him feed off of his own confidence.
Coming up next, UCF and Houston. Final quarterfinal round matchup here in Orlando, and a timeout by Wichita State. We'll be back. 11-3, the run that the Shockers are on right now to lead by 10.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Aaron's. Lease to own top brands in furniture, electronics, and appliances with no credit needed. Esurance, auto, and home insurance for the modern world. And Vicks.
Wichita State by 10 over Temple with 4:46 to play in this contest tonight from the Amway Center in Orlando. This is the Aaron's American Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Championship. Third of 4 quarterfinal round games today. Houston and UCF comes your way after this one. A date in the semifinals. Cincinnati's going to take on Memphis tomorrow after Memphis got a three-pointer at the buzzer to win it by Kareem Bruton.
Of course, Cincinnati, the regular season champions of the American, went into Wichita State, won 62-61. And Memphis now on a late season roll under the direction of Tubby Smith, who's done a masterful job with Memphis coming down the stretch, even with the injury to his top point guard, top player, Jeremiah Martin.
Foul on Josh Brown, his second for Temple. Shockers in the double bonus. Automatic 2 coming at the line here for Austin Reeves.
Speaking of Memphis, Austin Reeves went for 22 points in that game, knocked down 5 3-pointers. He's gone on streaks where he's hitting 4, 5, 6 threes in a row.
Part of the future of this Shockers group for head coach Greg Marshall. They're going to graduate 6 seniors
yep.
right, from this team this year.
Yep.
Talking Kelly, Brown, Nerger, Willis, Morris, and Fran Camp. It's an unbelievable group right there.
Yep. Then depending what happens with Landry Shamit in his future, there's talk about him possibly testing the NBA waters, which I like the rule. You go and test it, see where you're at, and decide what you want to do. It's a good rule.
Largest lead of the night for Wichita State is Alston. Takes it in strong, and I think that's smart there for Temple. There's so much time left in this game now.
Yeah, Fran Dunphy just designed a really good isolation play for Shiz Alston to go mano-a-mano against Austin Reeves. They feel like they can attack him when he's on defense and Shiz Alston's on offense. Good matchup for him.
And use this to your advantage as well now, as Wichita State has committed 9 fouls, 1 more. And if you're Temple, you're shooting an automatic 2 for the rest of the way, and the clock would be stopped. You got to preserve clock here at this point.
And Shiz Alston so solid with the basketball.
He knew he missed it. Got it there for the offensive rebound. And he stepped out of bounds.
Wow. What a reaction by Shiz Alston. While everyone else was spectators along with everybody else here at the Amway Center, Shiz Alston was trying to make something happen. He just goes and gets it. Everybody stands and watches.
He just stepped down to the baseline, almost a steal, and a hard foul. And as Zach Brown got tripped up. And Obi Anecchionia with his 4th personal foul. Just hasn't been the night for him. Just the 1 point, the foul trouble. He's played in 14 minutes tonight.
And Austin Reeves threw it up for grabs, and he just heard from Greg Marshall directly. But Zach Brown came up with the loose ball.
Greg Marshall over there says that throughout a game he goes between 3 and 4 miles walking up and down the court. With his excitement, leading the Shockers basketball team now in his 11th season. Just the numbers are outstanding. Going to go to the NCAA tournament for the 7th consecutive year. Think about this, since the start of the 2011-12 season, 83% winning percentage, second to only Gonzaga.
Yeah. And Zach Brown just missed both free throws.
Critical there, as Rose takes it in and scores.
He just made Zach Brown look like he was standing still. An elite first step to the basket.
Temple within 9. With just over 4 minutes to go. We'll be back to Orlando in a minute. Shockers by 9, still just over 4 minutes to go in this contest. Quentin Rose for the Temple Owls trying to bring his team back in what has been a very exciting game. Glad you're with us here tonight in Orlando. Mike Corey and Mark Adams.
I love Quentin Rose. I love the way his game has raised year by year from freshman to sophomore year. 16 points now to the 31 for Temple have come because of Quentin Rose. How has he done it? Defensively, the steal, which kind of got him going offensively with that dunk. Then he starts lowering that left shoulder, takes the bump, and finishes, and then look deep from downtown. I saw it in his eyes. He wants the basketball, and then the elite first step. I mean, Zach Brown crashes while trying to stay up with that first step of Quentin Rose.
I love how he does it in a variety of different ways and changes it up. So as a defender, you don't know, where he's going next.
I mean, when I saw him as a freshman, he looked like a kind of basketball Jones kind of guy, just a skinny dude that could really play, And then he kept getting better and better every game I saw him. He's continued along that trajectory into his sophomore year. Huge upside for Quentin Rose.
Shockers have led this entire game. Temple has had it down to a 2-point deficit 4 times this second half, just has not been able to get over the hump.
Watch Landry Shamet, number 11, move without the basketball. He's with Josh Brown now. Late shot clock. They got to go.
Down to 2. Reeves for 3. Rebound Rose.
Opportunity Knox.
Alston for 3. Wow. Big shot from Shiz Alston. And it's down to 6.
Well, they're answering the question, do they have another run? The answer is yes.
And they're going to steal. Alston, Rose to Anecchionia.
Here we go. Buckle yourself in. I've seen this movie before, and the ending is unreal.
3 minutes to go, and Temple making some plays with this full court press. It's an 8-0 run right now as they're down by just 4.
Temple playing for their NCAA bid lives.
Shamet. Shot clock again winding down. 5 to shoot. Reeves. Got the floater.
No big deal. Just come down and answer again. Watch Rose, watch Shiz Alston. J.P. Morgan with the backup and finish. J.P. Morman, Shaq Morris gets caught on the high side defending. Rashard Kelly tries to cover for him. This is a freshman. J.P. Morman with the biggest play of the game for Temple.
So many different players involved in this, in some unbelievable plays throughout this contest tonight.
This is a blast.
Morman makes it a 3-point ball game.
Remember, number 4 Tulsa was upset by Memphis earlier today.
Foul. That's going to send Rashard Kelly to the free throw line. J.P. Morman. Now his third personal foul. Kelly just a 58% free throw shooter though on the season.
Mike, so now how much is it a battle of attrition with the foul trouble that Temple faces? We come down to late game situation with all the depth that Wichita State brings to their offensive firepower.
I mean, at this point, they've been dealing with it all game.
Yeah.
And Frank Dunphy's done an awesome job of getting these guys in and out.
He really has. He's done a masterful job of managing his roster throughout the foul trouble, throughout the game. In the beginning, Obi Echione picked up his second foul with 3 minutes into the ball game.
Big shots here by Kelly.
Wichita State going some full court pressure now.
Two minutes to go. Brown. Pass is deflected. Stolen by Kelly. They had the right idea.
So they reset the shot clock because they ruled that Rashard Kelly had possession, which he did.
Echione fighting for it. Shamit got it. Reeves is fouled by Josh Brown.
Not sure Josh Brown wanted to foul, and I know Fran Dunphy didn't want to foul right there.
SportsCenter tonight after North Carolina Duke, Part 3. SVP will have it for you. Full breakdown of the biggest game in the association, the Raptors and the Rockets, plus all the best plays and celebrations from today's 42 Champ Week games, and a recap of Tigers' second round. He's right there in the Valspar Championship. SportsCenter coming your way tonight, 11:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN.
Speaking of the Raptors, how about former Wichita State Shocker Fred VanVleet hit the game winner at Detroit earlier this week.
Yep. Minute 23 to go. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Possession arrow favoring Temple if we get a jump. And it's a 6-point game. Quinton Rose has been money in this second half. Feeds it, and Echione.
Well, I thought that was down.
He hit 5 threes last night. Just over a minute to go.
You don't have to foul. Play defense, play defense, play defense. J.P. Morman that time comes out, fouls Shaq Morris.
Wichita State, the Shockers fans, they travel well. They've been boisterous this entire game, most of which they've spent on their feet. And Wichita State has done well at the free throw line. 80% from the stripe, 20 of 25. Can they salt this one away? Here's a look at our bracket of the Aaron's American Athletic Conference Championship quarterfinal round. We have a fun one here tonight. Can't wait for Houston and UCF as well. And we'll have 4 teams at the end of the night competing in the semifinals tomorrow.
It'll be a much different flow of the game. Houston and UCF, as both are 2 of the most elite defensive teams in the country. You're going to love watching these 2 teams get after each other.
I want to thank our great crew from ESPN here this weekend in Orlando, our producers, Neil Gallo and Major Hal, our directors, Matt Gersten and Logan McDonald, along with Jesse Jones, Bruce Dunn, Andrew Furstein, Tom Giddens, ton of people working on these games here all day yesterday and today. Mike Corey and Mark Adams. Stevie McIlvain, our stage manager. Tom Barbary, our statistician, doing a great job all week here as well.
And Tom Barbary, I got to tell you, his suits are like dynamite.
He's the best dressed statistician.
The Daddy Warbucks of stats guys. No question. Yep.
Free throw line is Shaq Morris for Wichita State.
The one thing I've learned in this game, don't count Temple out.
Definitely not. Loose ball. Timeout by Reeves. Greg Marshall and the Shockers hold on to the possession and a 7-point lead. Smiles right now with 1:01 to go.
How important was that loose ball? Judged by the number of bodies flying at it, Austin Reeves, as soon as he hit the deck, he was calling the timeout to the official, looking up at the official calling the timeout.
3 teams here from the American getting ready to do some dancing. Cincinnati, Wichita State, who you're watching here tonight, and the Houston Cougars have all pretty much secured a spot. They're on the way next as they take on UCF.
Yeah, Rob Gray and the Houston Cougars, and here are the Wichita State Shockers, right now projected to be a 3 or 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. This would have been a 5-bid league had SMU stayed healthy, and I think UCF as well. They lost Aubrey Dawkins before the season ever started. Then, of course, Taco Fall went down.
That's got to be the most impressive by UCF, considering all their losses and where they're still at right now. That's no disrespect, you know, to the SMUs, you know, who have their top player in Shake Milton out. I mean, that would have completely changed things for them.
Yeah, they went down to 7 scholarship players for Tim Jankovic and the Ponies of SMU. Tough to coach through that.
Woodson Rose with his first personal foul there. You know, Wichita State's not giving much breathing room up here because they've shot so well at the free throw line in this game. 80%. 78 right now, actually, 21 to 27. Reeves is 3 for 4 from the stripe.
So the guy that got on the floor for the loose ball, a floor burn on his left elbow. He's had some shoulder issues throughout his career. Goes to the free throw line and calmly drains the first one.
Shockers in their first year in the American Athletic Conference. Finishing 24-6 regular season. First tournament game here tonight in the quarterfinals, trying to advance to the semis. 9-point lead, Rose and Temple not done yet.
Just knew they would answer. You knew they would answer.
60-second timeout. Temple's timeouts exhausted.
And that's it for Temple. They are out of timeouts with 49.5 remaining.
Quentin Rose with that elite first step again. Gets to the open area over Shaq Morris. Well, what a tough band of dudes here that have come to Orlando through all the ups and downs, but it's what you learn from those positives and negatives as we look at UCF getting ready to come in. One of the great defensive battles you'll ever see in college basketball. 2 elite defensive teams will slug it out in the nightcap here in the American Championships.
They had a 14-point win last night over ECU to advance here to the quarterfinals. One semifinal matchup is set, and it's Cincinnati and Memphis tomorrow. Second one, the winner of these two, and the winner of UCF and Houston coming up in just a little bit. This has been one entertaining basketball game. Both ways, you credit the Owls for making these comebacks, but they've got it as close as 2. Why haven't they been able to get over the hump here tonight?
Well, first of all, let's credit the dynamic play of Landry Shamet in the first half, and then Shaq Morris in the second half. Wichita State had answers offensively every time the Temple made a great run.
Those are 2 first-team all-conference honorees that you're talking about with Morris and Shamet.
Full court pressure now from Temple. You can afford to trap and do whatever you got to do to get a steal. at this end of the floor, then you got to foul at the opposite end of the floor. Now you have to foul.
Josh Brown.
Temple foul number 1, Josh Brown. That's his 4th.
Foul trouble didn't help the cause for Temple tonight, and Michionia, who you knew had to have a game here tonight. It's just, it's been hampered by foul trouble.
Yep.
He's only got 3 points. Rose has 23 to lead the Owls, but on the other side, it's Shamet with 24 to lead all scorers tonight.
And that's Gionia back in the game, another guy that could bang the 3-ball. You know, Austin Reeves, it'll go down in the scorebook if he makes those free throws, 4 consecutive free throws. But it's the loose ball that he came up that was the biggest play of this game for him as he missed it. I jinxed him.
40 seconds left. Quentin Rose. What a take.
Slither and slide.
Temple's got some steals here too, by the way, with their full court press. Can they get another?
They go deep. They got to look deep.
That's the guy they want to foul too, Kelly.
Quentin Rose, look at this. Now, he's got 3 defenders that all have their attention on Quentin Rose. He just slices, dices, knifes right through the defenders.
J.P. Mormon is fouled out for Temple. Nate Pierre-Louis returns to the Owls lineup. Now just a 58% shooter in Kelly at the line for Wichita State. 6-point lead.
But think of all the big game situations he's been in throughout his career.
And he's actually perfect at the line tonight. 3 for 3. And now 4 for 4. There's Mormon who fouled out.
Run out of bodies.
Yeah, Perry fouled out as well. 22 there on the left. Flackby has 4 fouls on the bench as well. All right, still a chance here.
It's got to be quick.
Brown takes contact and scores it.
I love these guys. Absolutely love them. Josh Brown, just fearless, going to the basket, draws contact, he'll go to the line. A little push there. Nice little bump and finish with the left hand. One of my favorite shots of the season was watching him drain the game winner at SMU earlier this year. Temple was struggling. They needed a gutted out win, and Josh Brown was the leader. Here he is at the free throw line now to make this even more interesting with under 25 seconds to go.
Missed it. And almost. Temple trying to get that ball, and now Reeves is going to be fouled. They needed that one. Think about how they got that offensive board.
And remember, Shiz Alston earlier got his own offensive rebound off a missed free throw. That time not as fortunate for Temple.
UCF. There's Taco Fall, 7'6" has been out with a shoulder injury. Part of the injuries that they have had to deal with this season and how their defense has changed when he was in the lineup, and now without him in the lineup, and Johnny Cockett's group they're competing.
Yeah, we'll talk about how it's changed here in this second game. We still got a little bit more basketball to play with Austin Reeves at the line, up 6. Make that 7.
Clock down to 15 seconds. Alston a deep 3. Rebound Morris. A foul. And that may do it. 12.1 remaining. 7-point lead for the Shockers. And their fans rise to their feet.
They certainly travel well, don't they? I saw it year in and year out at Arch Madness in St. Louis. And now they get to come to Orlando and do the exact same thing.
It's got to be fun for these fans, and they spent 72 years in the Missouri Valley. Their first year in the American Athletic Conference. Some of the great cities and places you get to travel here in this conference, and a lot of new experiences for them. And here in Orlando, they're going to get a chance to watch another contest in the semifinals.
And you get to play against legendary programs like Temple, like Cincinnati, like UConn, like Memphis. Tremendous college basketball conference.
Brown. Rose. Rebound. Nurture. And that's going to do it. Wichita State, 89-81 winners over Temple to advance to the semifinals of the American Athletic Conference tournament here in Orlando.
Landry Shamet, certainly the story of the first half, ends up with 24 points, had 17 points in the first half. He was tremendous for Wichita State here this evening in Orlando as they advance to the semifinals.
24 for Shamet, 16 for Kelly, 13 for Reeves, 10 for Morris. What a team effort tonight by the Shockers as they advance and await the winner of our nightcap, Houston and UCF.
Yeah, Mike, Shaq Morris was a big key in the second half as he had 0 points in the first half, but really showed up offensively, was just so much more aggressive offensively and defensively. But the real story of this game first is how Temple responded to every single challenge and how Landry Shamet led the charge to answer all of those challenges from a game bunch of Temple Owls.
Tough night for Obi and Echionia, but what a career that he had as a Temple Owl. You can see it. Upset, frustrated for sure, had some foul trouble tonight. Coming off a performance yesterday where he hit 5 3-pointers en route to the win. Just the 3 points tonight in his final game for the Owls. And the Shockers victorious as they advance to the semifinals here in Orlando. Tons of crowd support. They travel well, and they witnessed a good one here tonight. Mike Corey, Mark Adams, and now with Landry Shamet. Congratulations, my friend. Nice effort by you guys. And you withstood a ton of Temple runs at you guys here tonight.
Yeah, man. They're a really good team. We've experienced 2 really close games with them in the regular season. We knew what we were getting into playing them. They're a really good team. Got a lot of scores, a lot of weapons offensively, and I'm just glad we weathered the storm and came out with the win.
Landry, before the game, we got a chance to talk a little bit. You talked about how aggressive you needed to be. 17 points in the first half. Why were you so effective offensively?
My teammates, man. Shaq obviously has been, the focus lately. He's been a man inside, and he's just been doing his thing and taking a lot of pressure off me. And I just, tried to take the looks I got, and I knocked him in tonight. So
in the second half, it was noticeable that you deferred to Shaq Morris. He had 0 points in the first half.
Yep.
What did Coach Marshall say at halftime, and why was Shaq Morris so effective in the second half?
Me and Shaq actually talked about that, going into halftime. I was like, hey, man, I was hitting them. We're killing them on the perimeter, and, they're going to obviously focus on that. And so I'm going to need you this half, and, he did what he did. We went to him a lot. Coach made it a point of emphasis in halftime and made that adjustment, and we just executed.
Mark gave you a great nickname here tonight as we came on the air. He called you Aladdin. I know we're in Orlando here, but he said, magician, you can do everything.
So do you like it?
It doesn't surprise me from you, man.
Magical.
You've had some good nicknames over the years, man. But that's pretty good, I guess. I'll take it.
Yeah, Atlanta's good now.
That's pretty good, yeah.
It's great. Hey, look forward to seeing you in action tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All the best.
Appreciate it.
Landry Shamet with the
Great
win here tonight for the Shockers. They move on to the semifinals with this 89-81 win over the Temple Owls, and they'll take on the winner of Houston and UCF.
On Houston, UCF on the way, and Landry Shamet, one of the class guys in college basketball. He really was Aladdin. He was magical tonight, and he's riding that magic carpet all the way to the semifinals here in Orlando.
Hope at Game 2 is going to be just as exciting as the one we just witnessed. Wichita State moving on with an 8-point victory over the Temple Owls. We will have more of the Aaron's American Men's Basketball Championship, which continues from Orlando in just a little bit. Our final game in the quarterfinals is coming up. UCF and Houston. Stay tuned for that.